The Sunday Mirror, Nigel Nelson now. Nigel, I mean, obviously we don't see these kind of occasions that often. It's been 70 years that Queen Elizabeth ascended the throne. In terms of the importance of what moments like this, in how important they are for the British public to understand how their country works, the mechanisms that make everything function in the UK. It's kind of important also in that sense, isn't it?
Yes, Adnan, I think it is. I mean, really, this kind of ceremonies must look quite peculiar to the rest of the world, that you've got a lot of people in ancient uniforms moving around. But I think that the importance here is the symbolism for the United Kingdom. And really what it shows is that it is our 1,000 years of constitutional monarchy. And the important thing about events like this is about continuity. It is basically showing that although things change, some things don't change. And one of those things is the role of the monarch in British society.
Yeah, can you just explain for the benefit of our viewers exactly what a constitutional monarchy is? I mean, do you expect Prince Charles to come here to speak to these two houses of Parliament to say, obviously, I will respect the Constitution and I will be the monarch, but then nodding to the fact that he is not the executive of the country? How does a constitutional monarchy as the UK work?
Basically, we're a parliamentary democracy. So what we have is a non-political head of state. So we don't have a president. I think that we're very fortunate to have something like that. What it means is that the monarch is not part of any political party. The monarch acts totally in the interests of the nation and the people. But it's Parliament which actually takes the decisions and the government which carries them out. Other important aspects of this are that the armed forces and the security services, they're what's called crown servants rather than civil servants. That means that they owe allegiance to the monarch rather than to the government of the day. What that does is bring stability to the entire constitutional process. Basically, it means that if a government goes doolally, it's unlikely that the armed forces or the security services would back them.
Yeah. In terms of how King Charles may govern, a lot has already been spoken, Nigel, about what he was like as a younger prince and how he's changed as he's become older and what transformations may occur now that he's ascended the throne. I'll give you a personal opinion. I first started to notice Prince Charles as a person of interest to me in probably around the 1980s when he started speaking out against that ugly, destructive architecture that litters the United Kingdom and dates back from the 1970s. And then he said something really strange, which I didn't expect. He said, we need to learn how to talk to plants because they will react. He's been this champion of the natural world, which almost made him a kind of a forward thinker for his time. Will he continue to be that, do you think?
I think only in private. I mean, just to pick you up, Adnan, on the language there, that Charles won't govern. What he will do is reign, and there is a huge difference. It's the government and the Prime Minister and her ministers who will do the governing. What I think you've seen is that you're absolutely right. Charles has been a bit of a political figure as Prince of Wales. There's the famous sort of spider memos, as they were called, because of his handwriting that he used to write to ministers and to prime ministers. They used to get quite irritated about it. But now he is the king. That will change. He won't get involved in politics because that is not his role. So the kind of things he was doing, it doesn't mean he doesn't champion the environment or won't speak about it, but he won't speak about it in a political way. What he does in private with his plants, of course, is a matter for him.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Correct to pick me up also on misspeaking and saying that he'll be governing. Of course, he'll be ruling. In terms of the royal family being the representatives of the United Kingdom and being almost people rather than royals. And it's happened probably since the death of Princess Diana that Queen Elizabeth herself seemed to become more open and understand that she had to show a genuine connection between the royal family and the people of the United Kingdom. Charles has been quite private. He's often complained. Microphones have picked up about him not being happy that journalists are around. He'll have to be a bit more understanding of that relationship, I suppose.
Yes, I think that this is one of the great things about the Queen's legacy, which will be passed on to the King, and he will continue it. What the Queen was because of her longevity, she was very much Britain's anchor to the past, but also she was a beacon towards the future. And as a result of that, we now have a modern 21st century monarchy. I mean, it's one that's actually ready for 24-hour news, for the social media world. Of course, what that has meant is that it's opened a spotlight onto the royal family as people, and we begin to see some of the difficulties they face. Prince Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family, leaving royal duty behind them, and going to make their own way in America. That was hugely controversial. The Prince Andrew's various scandals, they've been controversial. These were all things that in the past we would know very little about. But as a result of opening up, we know more about it. And yes, Adnan, I think you're absolutely right. What we have to recognize is that this is a family with all the conflicts that go on within families, and these are people.
Nigel, what was your edition on Sunday of the paper saying? What was the main thrust of your coverage? Because, of course, it would have been the first edition since the Queen's passing on Thursday.
Yes, that's right. And the main focus was the one great surprise in what was otherwise a series of very well choreographed events. And that was Prince Harry and Meghan doing the walkabout at Windsor Castle to look at the tributes alongside Prince William and Kate, the new Prince and Princess of Wales. Now,
Okay. Clearly, we just lost that line to Nigel Nelson, political editor of the Sunday Mirror. But here we see the car with King Charles and the Queen Consort, his wife Camilla, just pulling in here to the Houses of Parliament, where he will be inside that chamber, which is full of members of the House of Lords and the House of Commons, to be speaking to them as the country's monarch for the very first time. Nigel, sorry, we lost the connection with you, and you were saying the main thrust of the Sunday Mirror's coverage, the first edition of your paper since the Queen's death on Thursday.
Yes, I mean what it was that this was the one expected event on things that were really well choreographed, and that was the appearance of Prince Harry and Meghan alongside Prince William and Kate, the new Prince and Princess of Wales, to look at tributes outside Windsor Castle. The two brothers have fallen out since Harry went to America and gave up the royal family. Now, whether or not this is a rapprochement is going to last,
Nigel, we're going to leave you there for the moment. Okay, not only is there a bit of breakup on the line, but I think you might be being drowned out by the trumpet.